Hey folks, it's Billy DKY, the truth seeker that simplifies and demystifies. This is going to be my top 5 tweets of the week review, May 2nd, 2010. The first tweet, a little evil can do what a lot of goodness can't. Don't limit yourself to only being good. Seek harmony instead of goodness. I see people on a day-to-day basis who do a lot of evil in the name of goodness. And really, to me, I don't even really like the word good and evil anymore. To me, it's about harmony and disturbances. And to give you an example of people doing goodness that causes evil in the long run, and it's basically out of harmony, and it really happens because they're short-sighted and they don't have any vision. I was at the park and people are feeding the squirrels nuts. And that in itself doesn't sound like a bad thing, right? And all they're happy and they're feeling so goody two-shoe about the damn self. And I'm watching them feed the squirrels. I'm thinking, all you're doing is hurting those squirrels. You know, it's not like the squirrels are starving. If the squirrels were starving, I'd be like, hey, that's fine, cool, do it. And I'd actually seen a squirrel starving one time. It was licking the branch. It was so hungry because the nuts didn't produce when you're. That's a perfect time. Go feed them then, you know, when they need it. But and I see it in other places all the time too. And it's just, again, seek harmony. Don't seek to be a good person. Harmony's about analyzing the situation and seeing what is best in the long term. Like those people feeding the squirrels nuts, they didn't realize they're setting that squirrel up for failure because that squirrel's losing its natural ability to find food. And like I've said before, there was up in a park in Louisville, there was a, it said don't feed the ducks because they'll get used to you, and then when you go away in the summer, everybody's feeding them all the time, they get enough food, but in the winter they can't, and then they wind up dying, so you're killing them, and it's a lack of vision because you want to do it for your pleasure. Again, forget about good and evil. I wouldn't even talk about good and evil. Just, is it harmonious or not? Does it lead to growth? And really, harmony is about growth, so is it leading to growth or not? Look at all the consequences and the long-term consequences of your action. Okay. Enough of that. Tweet number 2, find the appropriate balance between caring and not caring. And it's really a harmonious thing again, like in the first one. And I noticed this week. I was just noticing, as you make real spiritual progress, your mind keeps getting sharper and sharper, and you see people for who they really are. And I was noticing how uncaring my mother is, how she just don't care. I'm like, man. And then I started thinking about my dad, and I was thinking about how much he does care. And I noticed they sort of balance each other out. There's a balance. Like, she's over here, he's over there, and the balance is somewhere right in here. It's a real fine line between caring and not caring, and caring too much. And we've all seen people who care too much, and again, it's not good in long term for the person. So it's sort of linked that first tweet. But anyway, if you care too much, you need to learn to care less, and if you don't care at all, you need to learn to care a little bit. So, and I guess it probably goes back to the understanding that keeps repeating itself over and over. Less is more, but not none. So care less, but don't give it up. Tweet number 3, there is no playing with pleasure. You seek it, you lose. There is. I was trying to baby step myself out of pleasure on the pleasurable foods, and I'm feeling great, eating plain simple. And I was like, well, you start negotiates. Well, I'm eating this many calories of pleasurable food. I'll just baby step it down. But it's like there's no playing with it. At least for where I'm at on my journey, no playing with it at all. You play with pleasure, you lose. It's sort of reminds me of. Let's say you're a teenager and you're playing around with sex. Oh, you don't want to have sex because you don't have a condom, and you don't want to shame on the pill. You don't want to get her pregnant. You start playing around. What's going to happen? You're going to wind up having sex because there just ain't no playing with pleasure. It's going to overwhelm you. It's just that way. So never underestimate indulging in one pleasure. One won't hurt you. That's what a drug dealer works on. The principle of one's going to sucker you in. There's no playing with it. So, and you even see it on the back of a package of Frito-Lay chips. If you're watching from another country, it's just normal potato chips. But it says on the back, it says, you can't just eat one. Why would you even buy something that you don't have no control of your actions after you do it? It's ridiculous. Don't play with pleasure. Focusing on growth. Okay. Tweet number 4, enlightenment is normal. Normal is screwed up. And what I've been realizing as I make more and more progress, I'm not like Superman or God or some excuse my language, bullshit like that. I'm just becoming extremely normal. You know what I mean? There's nothing. It's just becoming normal. Where what most people consider normal is actually a very low state of being, a patheticness for the most part. So again, enlightenment is real. And here's what Lao Tzu called enlightenment. He said, this may not be exactly right, but it's good enough. He said, seek harmony is knowing consistency, and knowing consistency is enlightenment. So seek harmony, you'll start being more consistent. As you get more consistent, that'll be enlightenment, and it's basically just, that is normal. Everybody else is screwed up. You know, everybody says, well, what is normal anyway? Well, normal is enlightenment. The problem is you've allowed yourself to be stuck on stupid and to be in the normal life. Okay. And that brings up, Tashu said something like that too. He said, enlightenment is not that great, but there's nothing better. Or maybe that's his saying with me putting my own tweak on it. But anyway, next tweet. Joy, pleasure, fun, and happiness aren't the goals of life. Growth is the goal of life. And am I saying there's, again, like I did in that video, get your priorities straight. It's okay if you're experiencing joy. It's okay if you're experiencing pleasure. It's okay if you're experiencing fun. It's okay if you're experiencing happiness. However, it's not, you don't go out seeking it. You go out to seek to grow, and those things happen as a side benefit. It's not what you're seeking, and even if they don't come up, you're still okay because you grew. But when you go out seeking those things, that's what you're seeking, you're going to wind up being miserable. I mean, I've done it. I've done those things. I've seeked all 4 of those things, and it led me to damn near suicide, so I know it doesn't work. You can say whatever you want. I know you're wrong. Okay. Tweet number 6, the truth is always there. It's just waiting for you to accept it. It's bombarding you every day. You don't need to go to a monastery. You don't need to go to a temple. It's right here and now, and every single moment you're being confronted with it. Just learn to accept it. It's really that simple. Tweet number 7, people seem to be clueless that there are consequences for action. I realize, man, people must have really just, their minds must be super narrow to not realize this leads to that, and they never see the consequences. It's like they don't see the consequences of their actions. It's mind-boggling to me now, and I guess I was at once at that point, but at this point it seems ridiculous. You know, it's like somebody goes, I don't know why I weigh so much. I'm like, well, damn, you eat a box of cookies, you eat Burger King or McDonald's, and it's obvious. Anyway, okay, so this brings up another thing that's been happening this last week. You probably know, obviously you've noticed it, my friends who keep track of my videos and stuff and talk with me. I put a barrage of videos out there, probably 3 or 4 a day. Basically what happened is I've been eating plain and simple, and my spirit's been on fire, and I couldn't control myself even to put the videos out there. So I'm basically going to I'm going to bring it back down to doing 1 a day, because I got 3 things I need to do. 1, I need to write the book, Falling Away of Growth. I need to get my thoughts down on paper. It's already in here. I just need to get it out and maybe, you know, get it on paper. So share the vision. And second thing I need to do, I need to write that book proposal, and I need to, so that's going to take some writing. That's consider that just selling it. And then the third thing I need to do is share with other people, and it's also in book terminology, it's called your base, you know, people you hang out with and people who follow what you're doing. So I'm going to try my best to limit it to 1 video a day, because it's better off for me, and I know it's better off for you. And I've had people that have too many videos come out at once, and I eventually unsubscribe to them because I can't see what else is going on besides what they're doing. So I know it's been annoying, and if you catch me doing it again, if you catch me doing more than 1 video again, just say, hey, Billy, you might want to consider you letting your spirit get a hold of you and take you down the wrong road. So now again, there may be more than 1 video if there's a UFC event and stuff like that, post fight and stuff like that, but typically on the normal stuff not. So again, it brings up another good point too. When you make real spiritual progress, here's how it really happens. First, you do something that makes your spirit grow. And then your consciousness can't handle all of it because it's not used to it. And so you'll be doing a lot of crazy stuff, and then all of a sudden, then it takes maybe may take 3 days before you get conscious control of that spirit, and then you're back to sort of normal. So that's sort of what's been going on with me. the spirit was just overwhelming me. So finally, I think today I've sort of, you know, in a good spot. Have good spirit, and I got good conscious control of it. So until the next video, later, folks.